All right, we are now back with the end of day pulse wave report special edition. This is the Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC reaction end of day report. So, for the longest time, the powers that be, the rulers of this world, have let the masses in on the gag, on the joke. And the gag is that they have some very wicked, evil, nefarious plans for the peasantry. They have a bright future that they have planned for themselves that doesn't include the peasantry. And they've been letting you in on it. They had no problems exposing themselves to you. Since 2013, I have been warning about such things. I warned you again in 2016. I said, this is what's on the table. This is what we're watching for. If thus and so happens, it's not going to end well. So today, the Fed decided they were going to do the 75 basis points. That's what the market was looking for. That's what the market expected. And that's what the market got. What does this all mean? Well, again, the Federal Reserve has not hidden anything from you. They told you exactly what they thought, and they told you exactly what they're going to do. And then the Fed has their constituents who have parroted things that they have said. Today, the banks testified on the Hill, and the things that we're saying, of course, they chose their words very carefully, basically telling you there's no concern. Your money's safe in the bank. That's what they tell you. And they want to keep it going. They want to keep the whole show going. So down goes one curtain, up goes the next. So that curtain goes down, then the Fed comes on. He speaks. He does his little Fed speak. And then that curtain goes down. But now another curtain is going up. If you recall, there was a president that took office, and it was the first black president by the name of Barack Obama. One of the things that Barack Obama had on his agenda, and people thought he was playing around, and so they didn't take him seriously, was he said that he was going to win the war. What war was he talking about? The United States has been in perpetual war for the past 30 years, nonstop. Of course, they don't call it war. They call it military action, police action, peacekeeping, whatever you want to call it. Perpetual war. But Obama said he was going to win the war. What war? The war on drugs? No. The war on drugs never existed. It never existed. There was no such thing as a war on drugs. If anything, it was a war against anyone getting involved in the government's drug running business. The war on drugs was the government saying we're going to control the drugs, the drug trade. That's what the war on drugs was. Prior to the government getting involved, there was open air drug markets across the country. People were selling drugs right in front of police officers, and the police officers would do nothing, just walk on by like they didn't see it. So when the war on drugs came, that was the government was like, you know what? We are missing billions of dollars in tax revenue. We need to control this trade. So that's what they did. They locked up all the street dealers, except for the ones that worked directly with the federal government. And everyone else was considered, violating, stepping on the government's toes. So they took over that. So when he said he wants to win the war, he wasn't talking about the war on drugs. He wasn't talking about the war in Afghanistan. He wasn't talking about, the Persian Gulf. Wasn't talking about any of that stuff. So then what war was the president referring to? The war that the president was referring to was none other than the war on Christmas. He specifically said it out of his own mouth, going to win the war on Christmas, the war against Christmas. What in the world does that mean? What a weird thing to say, right? Well, some time has gone by. He is no longer in office. And you finally see the fruits of that statement come into being. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Down goes another curtain. Billions and billions of dollars in holiday inventory has been canceled. This is the first time such a event has taken place. Never before in US history has this ever happened. One of the reasons why it's never happened is because the Christmas holiday shopping season is when all the retail companies make their profits for the entire year. All right, is the biggest shopping event of the year. It's where retailers who have been in the red all year finally make it into the black. It's that Christmas shopping holiday season. So, what does it mean when the world's largest retailers cancel billions of dollars of inventory and orders for said holiday shopping season? With no inventory, there's no holiday shopping season. Why would they do that? What are they preparing for? Now, see, it is a known fact that you have to have the inventory in stock if you want to make the money. All right. If the inventory is not in stock, whether it be physical at the store or physical at the warehouse or physical online in a warehouse, whatever, you're not going to make the sales. The only time a business would do that is with a few options available to them, such as the government saying, I need you to do this and we will take care of you. We will pay you money on the back end so you're not losing any money. We just need you to do us this solid real quick. Play ball. Either that, like we did with the lockdowns, or they're canceling the orders because they don't want to take the risk of having all that excess inventory. What do you mean take the risk of having all that excess inventory? Christmas is when people get down. That's when they shop. Think about it. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's never been a risk for retailers to stock on demand items. Whatever the hot items are, you're going to make your money in spades, okay? The reason why they canceled it and saw it as a risk is because they know for a fact no one is going to be shopping. Why won't anybody be shopping? Because they're not going to have any money. Why won't people have money? Because there are going to be massive layoffs coming. Why are there massive layoffs coming? Because the governments of the world got together behind closed doors and decided that there was one part of the agenda that they were failing at and needed it to speed and hurry along. And the only way to do it was to create a crisis that they could manipulate and control to achieve their end game result. Well, exit stage left, Obama. Enter stage right, Bill Gates. When his own words, he told you years ago, he said, we got to depopulate the earth. And the only way to do that is through immunizations and vaccinations. Well, how in the world are you going to get billions of people to go along with getting immunizations and vaccinations? How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? You just going to ask them to do it? No, they're not going to do it. But what happens if you make them do it? And you leave them no choice, or you scare them to death to make them beg for it? Enter stage right, 2020, with the pandemic. The pandemic was the perfect backdrop for that depopulation, immunization, vaccination part of the control plan to take place, and it worked. It worked a lot better than they thought it would. So next on the agenda, they're crossing stuff off. Okay, boom, we got the war on Christmas out the way, which is a war against Christianity, by the way. That's one thing that they can all decide on. If you get 10 leaders in a room, 10 nations in a room, and ask them to agree on what to have for dinner, they couldn't come to an agreement. But if you get every nation of the earth in a room, the one thing they can all agree on is that they hate Christ. They hate Jews and Christians, and they hate the God of the Bible. That's the one thing they agree on. Why do you think it's okay in mainstream media, social media, TV shows, movies? Why do you think it's okay to make fun of Jesus in the Bible and the God of the Bible, but they don't make fun of any other world religions? Not one. But they all agree to make fun of Jesus Christ, and the God of the Bible. That's okay. You can make cartoon references on South Park and The Simpsons and all other things. You can make movies, saying, whatever you want, the most ridiculous movies and TV shows, even on Netflix. You can do this. You can do it only about that. They don't do it for any other world religion. Not one. Not one. But they all agree they hate the God of the Bible. They hate Jesus Christ and the God of the Bible. And no one seems to say anything about it. It's okay to do that. It's okay to be blasphemous about that. That's okay. You just can't talk about any other religion. Only that one. You should start asking yourself, I wonder why that is. Well, it goes back to the agenda. Everything is connected. All truths are parallel. And that's what you see happening right now. What you see today has already been manufactured crises years ago in the making. And now, because they took a little longer than you expected to happen, it doesn't mean they weren't going to happen. They're happening right now in front of everyone, and no one is the wiser. They're doing this right in your face. They told you what they were going to do, and now they're doing it, and people are surprised. What's really going on? This is weird. How was it weird when they told you that this was going to happen? They told you this. They warned you. And then right after the useful idiots do their jobs, they're usually promoted or they retire with a golden parachute. Well, Dr. Fauci is walking away now with a golden parachute. He did his job. He did what they told him to do with no problems, and now he's being financially rewarded. Just like all the military personnel on 9/11. When that was all said and done, there were promotions left and right. How do you promote someone which is supposed to be the most darkest day of infamy on U.S. soil in U.S. history? Why are military personnel being promoted? You only promote someone when they play ball and do what you ask them to do. But again, the American people are none the wiser. None the wiser. So, where does that leave us? Where do we go from here? Where do we go? Well, I gotta tell you, I have a member exclusive coming at the end of this week, and we'll open it up sometime in the next couple of weeks for everyone else. But for our members only, for our pulse waivers, we have an exciting, amazing thing coming your way. All right. Team DEX is on the way. Team DEX is on the way. We got something for you, for our members, to bless you, because these days are about to get really, really dark. Really dark. Now, for several years, I have warned on this channel. I've told everyone what's coming. I took time out of my days to make 2 full-length documentaries that are still up on YouTube, warning. I did this in 2016, warning what was coming. And I told people to get ready. And now, unfortunately, that curtain is closing as well. Those that did not take it seriously and did not add finances to your prepping are going to be in a world of hurt. And see, you got had. You thought you just needed to have guns, bullets, gold, silver, some food and water, and you'd be good to go. You could ride it out. But you were forgetting about something. You forgot about the finances part, because your utilities aren't going to go anywhere. Your bills aren't going to go anywhere. The bank still is expecting that mortgage payment from you. The bank is still expecting that car note payment from you. Your doctors and hospitals are still expecting those co-insurance payments from you, and those deductibles from you. None of that stuff is going away. Even if they close the banks tomorrow, your bank is still going to want their money, and they will repossess your car. They will foreclose on your house. They do not care. They do not care. They're still going to want their pound of flesh. And yes, most people don't have a plan for that. What do you do when you're one of the people this fall that is about to be laid off? What are you going to do for income? You've prepped. You got 25,000 years worth of food and water and ammunition in your basement, but you have no income sources. As if the world was just going to stop one day and money is no longer needed. No. Even during an economic crisis, an economic collapse, you still have to have income. It's just how it is. The banks still want their money. The mortgage company wants their mortgage payments from you. Car payments are still going to be due. Prescriptions are still going to have to be purchased. Life will still go on. Always remember that. So I begged people on YouTube. I begged people. I said, you need to fund your brokerage account with somebody somewhere. You need to open a trading account. You need to do this right now. Do it while you still can, because the day is coming where you won't be able to. All right. I beg people to do it. Even people who don't know anything about investing or trading or none of that stuff. I said, do it anyway. And then sign up for the PulseWaves, and I'll teach you everything you need to know so that you can have this income. So if you're one of the unlucky people that loses their job or loses their pension because the pension goes belly up, you won't be looking stupid. You'll have a strong income because you're able to sit in front of your computer and make it happen and trade these markets and have an income stream for yourself, consistent profitability. I begged people to do that. Now, unfortunately, they're preparing to make that an impossibility. Those that don't have accounts will never be able to open anywhere because they're changing the rules. While everybody was sleeping and watching their favorite reality TV show, they were getting together behind closed doors to make things extremely difficult for you so that you have nowhere to turn but to the government. So now they came up with a new thing. If you make more than $600 buying or selling anything, the IRS wants to know about it. And you're going to be taxed on it. And in a lot of cases now, people are finding it difficult to even open and fund trading accounts. Yeah, I tried to tell you it was coming, folks. I tried to tell you. So they're going to box you out. People who already have established accounts will be just fine. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. But people who don't, it's going to be very difficult for you. I did try to warn people and tell them what was coming. Now, I want you to understand another thing that they're doing with their decision that they made today with the 75 basis points. See, they're still operating like this is 1929. This is not 1929. The economic rules no longer apply here because we're not dealing with economic laws and principles. We haven't for some time. Why do you think the deficit is so out of control? They can do that forever. Money no longer exists. They just push a button on a computer and voila, X amount of dollars are in whatever account they want it to be in. And they can also take that out of an account. They can also freeze accounts. They can do whatever they want. They have full control now. The authoritarian system is alive and well and getting stronger every day. You need to understand what they're doing. What they're doing is they're saying, okay, look, this person right here is choking to death in the restaurant. Someone quickly run over there and do the Heimlich. But instead of doing the Heimlich maneuver, you know what they're doing? While the person is choking and saying, I can't breathe, someone help me. The person walks up to the person, takes the fork, sticks it in the plate, and tries to feed the person. They're force feeding the person. They say, because you see, if we continue to cram food down the person's throat, perhaps that will move the blockage. That is what they're doing. You need to understand that what the Federal Reserve is doing is only going to make matters worse. They think that by raising rates, they're going to cool off the economy and do something about inflation. No, you're not. It's going to have the opposite effect because remember, we're not operating under normal economic principles or principles of accounting. Principles of accounting and finance went out the window a long time ago. They're on something else now. So what's going to happen is instead of performing the Heimlich maneuver on the choking patient, they're cramming more food down the patient's throat because according to them, this is going to push the blockage down further down the windpipe. And then this will alleviate the choking. That's what they're doing. And you can't tell them anything. They're the experts. They control the media. They control the narrative. And this is what it is. Or to put it another way, this is the new firefighters. This is the new fire. This is the federalized firefighters of America. And they're rushing to the burning building to put out the fire. It's a four-alarm fire. Four-alarm fire. Flames, shooting out of the windows, shooting out of the ceiling, shooting out of the roof, fire everywhere. They arrive on the scene, and guess what they're doing? They're spraying water all over the fire to put out the fire. Except for you notice something. That water is not supposed to have an odor to it. Why does it smell like that? Oh, I know why it smells that way. It's kerosene. They're putting out the fire with kerosene because according to their theory, you see, if you put more fuel to a fire, it'll cause the fire to burn even hotter to the point where it'll just burn itself so hot that it just burns itself away. The fire disintegrates. And then that way we can put out the fire without, drowning the building and putting water everywhere. So according to the nationalized firefighters of America, you got to use a lot of fuel to put out a fire. That's the correct way to put out a fire. Using water is the wrong way. And, we know that now. This is the better way to do it. You need to do that. You need to use fuel to put out a fire. You need to cram food down the mouth of a choking victim. That's what you do. All right? You can't question them. You don't control the platform. You don't control the narrative. They do. They control the media. So what they say is what it is. You and I know better. We know that it's going to end badly. When you add fuel to an already burning, out of control fire, you make it worse. If you try to cram food down the throat of a choking man, he is going to choke faster. But according to them, this is the right thing to do. So they're doing all the right things right now to make the situation worse. Because that's what they want to happen. They want the situation to be worse. They have decided that they're going to take down the entire financial system. Because they want to. Because they hate you. They don't want you to exist. So they're creating a starvation economy. They want people to starve to death. That's what they want. That's why they're blowing up all of the food manufacturing facilities. Have you noticed that? All the meat processing plants and meat processing facilities throughout the world have been spontaneously combusting and exploding. And no one is under investigation. No one is going to jail. While simultaneously they're telling you you're not going to be eating meat. Only the elite will be able to eat meat. The meat they want to give you is something that they grow in a lab. That's what they want to give you. They say, we will provide to you what we want you to have. And they don't want anyone driving cars. You're not going to own anything. You're not going to drive anything. You're going to be dependent 100% on the government to provide all of your needs. They will give you what they want you to have. And if you get out of line, they just take it from you and you starve to death. That's what they want. They're creating the crisis, manufactured crisis that they want to have to push forward the agenda of total dominance and total control. All right? This is happening. This is real. This is happening, and there's nothing you can do about it. All right? This is what they want. They want to depopulate the earth, and they're using the vaccines, and they're using starvation to do it. Why do you think there are tens of millions of homeless people in the United States? People living in tents, people living in cardboard boxes, people living in their cars, people living in RVs. Why do you think that is? It's by design, people. The hard days are only about to get harder. Meanwhile, good news though, if you are a pulse waver, this is going to be the greatest time for you to make profits in your life in these markets. Greatest time ever. Now, in the short term, they're bringing down all the markets. They're making all the markets crash together. Gold, silver, bonds, you name it. Oil, stocks, all collapsing together simultaneously for a time. And then once the agenda is complete, they will take their hands off the button and everything will go to the moon. I cannot stress to you how expensive gold, silver, and Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin are going to get. I don't know if we can count that high because the elite have chosen that to be their vehicle, their golden parachute, to insulate them from what they're building to fall upon you, the masses. See, they're going to be owning all the Bitcoins. Once Bitcoin is $10 million a coin and they have thousands of coins and you have nothing. That's the plan, for you to have nothing and for them to have everything. And when that happens, everything will be in the stratosphere. Stocks will be at levels and valuations you could only imagine. You think valuations are high now? You haven't seen nothing yet. You think the Dow at 30,000 is high? You haven't seen it, nothing yet. Wait till you see Dow 300,000. They're going to be talking about this like, do you remember the Dow when it was 30,000? We thought that was crazy. Well, what do you think now with a $300,000 Dow? Well, that's coming, folks. You need to prepare yourself for it. That's where they're bringing down the whole system. They're crashing down the whole system so they can bubble it right back up in the way they want it to be. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, I'm telling you, they're going to be unrecognizable. You're going to be, I cannot believe that one Bitcoin is $7 million. How did this happen? Why did I dump all my Bitcoin? See, they want you to become disgusted with your investments and with the markets in general. That way they can control you. Because if you get desperate enough, you'll sell all your gold and silver and Bitcoins just to buy a sandwich because you're starving to death. And that's what they're counting on. They're counting on people getting so desperate that they're going to liquidate those assets, and they're more than willing to buy them from you. They're more than willing to take your gold and silver off your hands. They'll trade you a sandwich for that gold and silver. Yes, they will. They will trade you a Subway sandwich for your Bitcoin, your Litecoin, and your Ethereum. And some of you are going to be in desperate situations and you're going to have no choice but to liquidate that so you can get that sandwich because you didn't listen to my voice. I've told you, you don't ever have to liquidate your holdings, even if your ribs are touching and you need a sandwich. You got to learn to navigate these paper markets so that you can get a sandwich. and still hold on to your wealth. Still hold on to your Bitcoins, Litecoins, and Ethereums, and gold and silver, because one day they will be priceless. All right, they will be priceless for you. So you got to get in here if you haven't already. The door is closing. All right, the door is closing. Yes, it's the ultimate evil squeeze. Like right now, they're making a bear trap for you in the stock market. Yeah, they want to catch as many people short as they can, and then they're going to gas it up and make it rally to the end of the year. I'm telling you, it's crazy times coming. The things that I see on these charts. Look at this first one here. This is the crude oil chart. Now, at first glance, looking at this, you just see a lot of colors. But let me make it make sense for you. You see, the crude oil has been coming down ever since you had this crash alert on June the 10th. The markets did nothing but come down, right? And now it's over. You just got this rally alert on September the 9th. And since then, the bulls have been in control, and they've kept oil from collapsing further. They've kept it from collapsing further. And it's getting closer to the breakout point of getting into the Kumo cloud and then back above $100 a barrel. Yeah, the bulls are in control right now. Make no mistake about it. All right. Now, can a program turn on and make this happen? See this bar right here where it came down? Can that happen again? Of course. But you're at the low point where they want the oil to be, and now they're ready to have it to explode again. It's not going to stay below $100 a barrel, folks. Not in this lifetime. Here's another thing I wanted to show you, the S&P 500. Take a look at this S&P 500. Now, at first glance, looking at this S&P, you'd be like, wow, the market really fell out of bed today, and the bears are still very much in control of this market. And I would say to you, yes, they are. So for the time being, you're not done yet. You got the 52-week lows that you hit on June the 16th that is now in play. All right, it's in play right now as we speak to the downside. Next chart, look at gold. Everything is moving together in a harmony type fashion. Gold is already hitting another 52-week low. Look at this. Who is in control of this market? Well, now you're getting consolidation now in your gold market. Mad consolidation. This is the consolidation bar right here, September the 15th. However, you got a rally alert for tonight into tomorrow's trading. You had one 2 days ago, but you didn't get any upside production. Everyone was waiting for the Fed today, and what did the market do? It did exactly what I told you it was going to do in the last video. I said, you're a breakout candidate, and you're going to go both. You're going to break down and break out. That's what the market did today. It rolled out of bed, fell down, and rallied, just like I told you. Just like I told you, but it's still in a neutral position with the nod going to the bulls for right now in the gold. This stuff is pattern, folks. It's just pattern. Here's your NASDAQ 100. Right now, it's a neutral candidate as well, with the nod going to the bears. You had a rally alert. You got a neutral signal coming into the FOMC. What did the market do? It rallied to make you think it was going to rally, and then it stopped short and collapsed into the rest of the day and sold into the close. Just like I told you it was going to do. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Next up, here is your Dow futures. Take a look at your Dow futures. All right, so your Dow futures is looking just like the S&P 500. The bears have it on lock, and we're expecting this market to head lower. All right, that's just the way they got it right now. There's nothing you can do about it. Not a thing. And then look. So you see the Dow and the S&P look the same, which they're supposed to. But if you take a look here, going back to this NASDAQ chart, this one you would have thought was in a better position to move forward and become the strongest and a leader. But instead, it's not a leader right now. Instead, it's looking rather weak, like it wants to fall apart. Not a lot you can do about that right now. This one is looking the way it is, and there's nothing we can do. So that's telling you got another day or so for all the stock indexes to catch up. Then look at silver. Just when you thought silver was going to do something. Look at the consolidation with the silver. You're 100% consolidated. This market is getting tight. The ranges are getting tighter and tighter because it's getting ready to pop. It's either going to explode higher or it's going to crash to new lows and take out the 52-week low. But that's where you are right now. You're also very squeezed up in here in this silver. It can go either way, but right now the nod is going to the bears. But also it's a neutral. But because you're in the devil's box in the bear market, you're in that bubble. You expect that explosion to happen. So right now, I'm thinking the explosion is going to happen, but it doesn't mean it can't suck some shorts in first. Got to be careful with this. You got to watch what you're doing. Next up is your gold. Look at GLD, right? Totally sideways, no commitment whatsoever, totally neutral. And you just hit new 52-week lows today. You can't make this stuff up. This is what's happening. And then look at bonds today. Look at TLT. You would have thought you would have gotten a lot more action today, but you didn't. All you did was the market said, okay, fine. I'm going to put in a 52-week low, let that low ride. Now we're going to put in a bottom, and now the market's ready to rally. This is by design. They need to do this to prevent the interest rates from getting out of control. And the way to do that is to give you a rally alert in the bonds and let the bonds rally all the way back to 115. See the way that works? Who benefits from this? Having the bonds continue to fall would have made rates get out of control. This way they can keep those rates oppressed. See how this works? You can't make this stuff up. This is just the way they do it. All right, and then take a look here at your US dollar index by way of UUP. So again, it was a breakout candidate coming into today, and that's exactly what happened. You got that explosion, hit a new 52-week high. It is now re-locked in on the bullish side, and now the momentum is pointing much higher. Once again, are we confused about that? No. Then look at your home builders. Look at your XHB. So you hit a new weekly low today, and then what did the market decide to do? It decided to rally and then crash into the close. Sideways, but giving you a rally alert going into tomorrow, but you're right here at this resistance bottom of the Kumo cloud. It's going to be a tough one for sure. It's going to be a tough one, but you do have a rally alert on it nonetheless. Then taking a look here at the euro yen, which is our proxy for the S&P 500 and for the stock market. What do you see here? Unfortunately, you see the bears are in full control. And you see this thing looking like it wants to break down and test the top of the Kumo cloud at 139. Again, this is just the nature of the beast. We'll end it with our last two charts here. Here is Bitcoin. All right, so the Bitcoin futures today, still consolidating here, folks. You had the rally alert coming into today. The market really didn't give you any upside production, and then it ends the day flat. And this is just day one. Perhaps tomorrow the market will try to muster up enough strength. But I think the consolidation bar is right here, September the 9th, and I think we're going to stay within that price range for the time being. Last but not least, here is your Ethereum on the future side, and you can see here that this one is also extremely consolidated. No conviction. Even though this is day two now of the rally alert, you're not getting it. Bottom of the Kumo cloud at 1500 is a very strong resistance zone, and it looks like the market is having a real tough time getting there, and you're just neutral. All right, so the pulse waves have been updated. If you go to your dashboard, you'll be able to see all the updates there. It's going to be very interesting moving forward. We're at a crossroads. A lot of these markets are neutral and trying to decide what they want to do, and you just have to flow with it. I do believe, though, that in some of these, we're going to be bottoming this week, and then the markets are going to be poised to rally going into next week. So how the market closes on Friday will be very important to what we see come Sunday night when the markets reopen. All right, so if you haven't already done so, you know you need to smash that like button and go to PulseWaveTrading.com. Hurry up before they close this door. I don't know how much more time we got, but they're going to make it hard for you guys to open accounts if you don't already have one open. So you want to do that immediately. Go to pulsewavetrading.com, sign up for the 14-day trial if you already have an account established. See how much money you can make using the Pulse Waves over these next 14 days for free, no charge, and prove it to yourself. And with that being said, remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.